How many people stand in front of the mirror and don't love the body or person looking back at them? Most of us have had the thought that we are not enough, not smart enough, not attractive enough, or are undeserving. And when you add the trauma that comes with abuse, domestic or family violence, mental health barriers, disability or illness, the capacity to value oneself becomes a lifelong struggle. In order to deal with the trauma of sexual abuse, particularly in my childhood years, I was dealing with, extreme low self-confidence at that time. And very introverted, totally disengaged from school, just was not present because of the trauma I had experienced. I was supported by my mum to take up ballet. The dance took me to another place, and I suspect it's the music as well. I now listen to music a lot because music has such a calming effect on one's mind, body and soul. At the same time, my mum took me to my first ashram where I learnt meditation. I was also exposed to the Great Australian Outdoors, and I was out in the salt water surfing. So I had all these things that I was being exposed to that were keeping me anchored.
I think what people need to appreciate about trauma is that it's incredibly complex. It affects, your sense of self. It affects your relationships with people. It affects how you see the world, and it can have a ripple effect, not just on the person themselves, but on future generations. We know the things that help people, and it's more than just being able to change their thinking.
Alrighty, are you ready? Hands out. 1, 2, 3, go.
Most people are aware of the physical benefits of exercise. So we get fitter, we get stronger, we help to reduce lifestyle diseases. But when someone is in a really dark place or their mental health isn't so good, exercise can have incredible benefits. For 30 years, I've been in the fitness and health industry. For me, just doing exercise on a daily basis and incorporating healthy habits has made me feel stronger at times when life gets tough. I love seeing people being lit up when they get out and exercise. Without doubt, I see people smile more. They become more confident. They realise that they're actually capable of doing something that they didn't realise that they could do. And that then continues on to other things that they do. Women's Spirit Project is a really powerful program because it encompasses a whole range of areas of health. And you've got a group of other women who are lifting you up. And there's nothing better than having people around you that, there to pat you on the back or give you some encouragement to make you feel like you can achieve something that you didn't think possible.
My name's Jan. The reason why I commenced this program is because it had been a long journey over 17 years. Losing my husband at the age of 50, followed by my youngest boy at the age of 5, being diagnosed also with cancer. Years and years and years of the constant illness and sickness and looking out, caring for other people grinds you down. I've been to many psychologists and social workers through the years. I was in a bad space. I picked up the local paper and in there was a little blurb for the Women's Spirit program. I thought, I really want to be part of this because it sounded like something that I needed at the time. And I was lucky enough to get a spot.
My name's Kim. Years ago, I struggled with postnatal depression, which I still am medicated to this day, and she's turning 18. Firstly, when she was a young baby, and it was really hard. I could look after Bridie, but I couldn't manage anything else. And most of the issue was me being hard on myself to be the best mum I could be. And I worked in childcare for many years. I knew what it was about, and I think a lot of the pressure was because I was a fantastic carer, but I'd never been a mum. What I wanted to be as a mum was to nurture this beautiful person to be their best version. I was scrolling through Facebook one day and I saw this ad a friend of mine had posted on her page. I thought, maybe I qualify, maybe I could go and do those things. Maybe I need fitness, health and well-being. And so I applied.
Through my career in the community sector, I've been exposed to the overwhelming number of women and their children impacted by trauma in its various forms, especially domestic and family violence and abuse. Within our communities, particularly since COVID, there are increasing numbers of women who are in struggle city due to trauma. Recent statistics show that 1 in 2 women are experiencing mental health issues. Rates of family violence have increased 300% since COVID, and 53% of women experience sexual assault.
My name is Mel, and in 2017 I escaped family violence and addiction. Being homeless with 2 small children, a 5-month and a 3-year-old, was hard. I was looking for hope or change, just something that would give me more than what I was living through. In 2018, it was when I was probably at the lowest point. I became a participant in the pilot program of Spirit of Transformation.
Better Health Victoria research acknowledges that physical activity is an effective part of treatment alongside standard care and can help protect against depression. In 2018, a study of nearly 34,000 adults highlighted that 12% of cases of depression could have been prevented by just 1 hour of exercise a week. Another study by the University of Sydney found that by walking 10,000 steps a day, you could lower your risk of dementia by about 50%. Exercise is important for people with mental illness, improving mood, concentration, and our cardiovascular and overall physical health.
I really didn't know what to expect, actually. It all came as a huge shock as to what it actually involved. I wasn't one of those people that just got up in the morning and hiked 10K. I needed a bit of a push. I think you've got to find a bit of inner strength and realise you've got to look at the end goal. We're completing that hike. I felt it. Juanita was one of those people who I can still hear in my head today about pushing on, and it's just pain leaving your body, because the second day of the hike, I didn't think I was going to be able to do it.
I always say when someone feels the pain from exercise, it's just weakness leaving your body. I just want people to realise, sometimes it's going to hurt a little bit, sometimes it's going to be hard, but anything hard is actually worth doing more and more.
Physical activity is so important for mental health and well-being. Getting people out, getting people up, with that connection to the body. It's good for your fitness. It's good for you to, do something for yourself. And we know that connecting with people is really good. One of the reasons why group programs can be so good as well is that they need someone to keep them accountable, or they need a heap of people, a family, a support network that really keeps them accountable and showing up and doing the work.
You've got your physical, your mental and your social health. So we're not just tackling one aspect.
It makes you stronger.
Women and men and young people in this country that I have no doubt have aspirations for more. But because of the cards they've been dealt with, the life that they're living is negatively impacted, which reduces their capacity to be who they are, to live into what I say is everyone's soul's purpose.
My name's Adele, and I live in Frankston with my 15-year-old son. In 2011, I suffered from an illness called PRES, posterior reversible encephalopathy syndrome. My brain swelled up, I had 2 strokes, and I was in a coma for 3 weeks. My family was told that I was either going to die or be a vegetable for the rest of my life. I was in hospital for 137 days. I wasn't able to speak and I couldn't move from all the sedation I had had. I was very depressed. I suffered very bad anxiety. I really needed to do something for me. I was minding my nephew at my sister's place, and on her bench was this little pamphlet for the Women's Spirit Project, and it had the exact words, "Do you need to do something for you?" And I just applied. I didn't even read the rest of it. I had no idea about Frank DeShank.
First time I was freaking out about the fitness side of it, but they teach you how to push past those things so that your mind doesn't stop you. When I first met Jodie, she was fairly loud, but she was really excited about the program. She's infectious, and all the people that were helping her were really infectious, and you just really felt like the mentors really made you feel like you were part of something from the first day. We didn't know any backstories. We didn't know why they were there or what reason led them, but we just knew that we were all in a vulnerable time in our lives, and we continued on to do fitness. We did well-being, lots of meditation, and we were connected.
From feeling very alone to coming into a place where there was women who were very empowering and inspiring was scary.
The most amazing thing for me was community and connection with others, strangers who didn't know my story but showed me this amazing unconditional love and respect and didn't judge me. And that helped to see someone beyond what I thought I was in my head.
You know, each week I could see change in myself. You know, by halfway through the program, I was smiling. I would start to wear makeup.
Social isolation and loneliness is the consistent theme or issue that all the women that come into this program identify when they fill in an application form. So the Women's Spirit was formed to provide women in our communities with a healing space where they can catch their breath for a number of hours once a week and start to fill their cup back up. You bring these women into a space and you support them to relax, have some fun. Women start connecting, and that sense of loneliness and isolation diminishes.
I see so much that I'm capable of and the possibilities that can open up for me and my children. I'm a major role model for them now, and I can see the things that they're doing at school. They are becoming leaders because I've been able to role model something for them, and it gives me an incredible strength to know that I'm able to guide my kids now and to know that anything is possible and opportunities can come to us. So the future is looking very bright, very, very bright.
When I got sick, it was a lot of why me, why did this happen and all that stuff. Then you meet women that are like-minded and the same, and they think the same. Like, without telling them your story, they have a story quite similar to your own. The friendship just kind of built straight away with everyone. Even in the fitness things, I hobbled along and everyone was still cheering me on. Someone said they've noticed that I now walk in with my head held high and not down. I'm looking at the ground all the time. And I didn't even notice that in myself until that was said to me. It made me realise how much it has changed me, and Like, I couldn't walk down a driveway because they were too steep. When I was taking my son to school, I'd have to get the lollipop man to help me down to cross the road. But when we did the Frank to Shank, I'm walking down hills, walking over trees that have fallen down, and I was determined to be the first one at the end of the finish line, and I was. There's more things I know that I can do now that I want to do in my life.
There's nothing around like the Women's Spirit Project. There might be different things in the community that specifically address the needs that you can refer people to. But imagine asking someone with trauma who's just struggling to function in survival mode to go to the community house and do that, and then show up to your appointments, and then, maybe join a group and try and put yourself out there. That's really hard, asking them to go and do all of those things when they're, just turning up to your sessions, or just living life is hard. Having a program that actually pulls that together and does all of that in the one place is incredibly unique.
The one and only Jodie contacted me. I was running for Parliament the first time, and I went down to Anaconda where the women were getting their shoes for their first trek. I remember there was one woman who said she had such bad anxiety she couldn't leave the house, and there she was at Anaconda getting a pair of shoes to go on a trek with a whole bunch of other women. And I just remember thinking, that's extraordinary.
Women's Spirit Project is a model of what works. It builds through lived experience. It's developed a program of work to create recovery and resilience and strengthen women's capacity to see their own future. But it's also doing that through multiple forms of health and well-being. It's training people up to look after themselves. It's training people up how to be leaders. It's then training people to set goals and achieve them. And it's also giving them an experience of active recreation in a way that the evidence says more women are engaging with.
There's huge power in coming together as a group, as a community, because there's always going to be times when you just don't feel like doing it. When someone's reaching out saying, are you okay? Your effort is good enough just to even turn up and be through that door. That's amazing, and you don't get that from doing it on your own. So investing in a program like this could impact thousands of lives, because it's not just the women we're impacting when they turn up every week, it's who they're associating with.
There is a powerful and increasing need for an effective, holistic approach like ours. And whilst we have various women and men advocating for our approach, the truth is that without the funding to help these women recover from trauma, Australia is missing out on the contributions that many women in our community could be making to our great country.
Losing a lot of friends and family, community is what built me up to dig deep down and start working on myself and my traumas. There is more to life than just that story, and you can park it.
Although my story is my story, everybody has a story, and therefore you're not alone.
I've never had a connection like this with anyone before. Now I've got it with 30 women.
I feel like the things they taught me, I'm forever grateful, and I'd like to continue on and assist the program as much as I can.
It's a group of people that have got together and thought about it deeply, researched it, talked to experts, come up with a strategy and a plan and a program. I think it's that approach that makes me think, okay, I want to be part of that, because that's got the potential to be in and for the community for a long time.
None of what the Women's Spirit offers is rocket science. What it does is bring together women and enable them to take steps to bring to life their personal aspirations and identify that they are, in fact, enough.